What's going on, Z Warriors? MrWaffles here, and today we have a special guest, JJ, also known as James Stadmiller on Retro. You want to say hi, James?
Hey, guys.
So, this is episode 2 of the Deck Doctor. I've been getting a lot of positive responses and a lot of decks, so I'm really happy that this segment's really working out well. So, on today's Deck Doctor, we have Mr. Garcia's Red Raditz deck. It has some balls in there, but we're going to also take a look on the deck on the right, which is James Stadmiller's original Red Raditz ball control build. So, we'll take a look at the deck on the left. So, Mr. Garcia was running, for physicals, 2 Devastating Blow, 3 Offensive Guard, 3 Red Heel Kick, 3 Red Knee Lift, 3 Red Double Strike, 3 Red Shoulder Grab, 3 Red Power Rush, 3 Red Block in Hand. For energies, he was running 3 Enraged Blast, 3 Red Static Shot, 3 Red Energy Blast, 3 Red Combined Blast, 3 Red Sacrifice, and 3 Red Energy Defensive Stance. For events, running 1 time, 2 Red Stop, 2 Red Emergency, 2 Red Blazing Aura, 3 Red City Destruction. And for setups, 3 Red Blaze, and for drills, 1 Quickness Drill, 1 Red Despair Drill, 1 Red Tactical Drill, 1 Embarrassing Drill, and for Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball 3 and 5. So a total of 17 endurance. So I guess the main object of this deck is just to try and level up. I saw some things I didn't like, and we'll get over to that in a second. And on the right, we have James Stadmiller's Red Raditz Dragon Ball Control build. So we have, for physicals, he's running 3 Devastating Blow, 3 Raditz Offensive Guard, 3 Red Knee Lift, 3 Red Shoulder Grab, 3 Red Double Strike, 3 Red Catch, 3 Red Block in Hand. For energies, running 3 Enraged Blast, 3 Red Static Shot, 3 Red Energy Blast, 3 Red Combined Blast, 3 Red Sacrifice, and 3 Red Energy Defensive Stance. For events, 1 time, as well as 1 Energy Sphere / Battle Pause, and he's in testing with this, and 3 Red City Destruction. For setups, he's running 1 Dragon Radar, 2 Visiting the Past, 3 Red Blaze, 3 Red Destiny, and for Dragon Balls, all Dragon Balls 1 through 7. So, James, on the left, what do you think about Mr. Garcia's build?
It's definitely pretty solid. There's a few things that jump out to me that don't really, I don't see them working very well in Red Raditz. You look at like Red Heel Kick. It's a great card in general, but it's not really gaining you anger, and to trade a card to get something back from your discard pile, which may or may not get you anger, I don't really see the value in it. If you more like a Red Beatdown build, Red Heel Kick is great. But the way I see Red Raditz running is it's really more anger. So you want that. Red Power Rush is a similar thing. It's only getting you 1 anger. It's got the interesting. Can't be stopped by physical combat cards if you've got 3 or more anger, but it's a little gimmicky for me. And I'd rather have something like Double Strike or Enraged Blast, that's getting me a consistent 2 anger. As far as some of the drills, I wouldn't run any of them. I don't see red running drills unless you want to do the anger as a resource, and I don't quite think there's enough support for that type of red build yet. So I think the drills are just kind of a waste of space. I would cut the drills and run Dragon Balls instead, and I'll talk more about why for that in a minute. And then same reason, cutting the drills that kind of tends you to cut red stop. So yeah, Omni blocks are great, but if you're not going to get the drill and the value out of that, and it's not getting you any anger, it's not giving you as much mileage as you want. So I think the red stop should definitely come out too. And I don't even remember what Red Emergency does. That's a critical damage effect, and what else does it do?
Oh yeah, I think use a critical damage effect if your anger's 2 or more. You get a drill from your discard pile, and 1 from the deck or something like that, or you shuffle 1 back in.
That's the one where you pick 2 and rejuvenate 1 and put 1 in play.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't remember what that card is. So.
Yeah.
And then what's that other one that's Red Blazing Aura. Red Blazing Aura is going to be redundant with Red Destiny. So, you could get to the stage where, the combats where you use Red Blazing Aura, you don't use Red Destiny, and so you always have some reduction going on.
Yeah.
But, it's only worth 1 anger. And I don't think it's doing enough. And if you're playing Red Raditz right, you're gaining 2 or 3 levels per combat, and so you really only need to have a neg X to attacks for a couple of combats anyway.
Agreed. I mean, what makes you think Red Raditz in particular? Just how Red and Raditz kind of work together. What's your thoughts about just the deck in general?
I think it's just a lot of fun. Red is one of the most fun builds to play, in my opinion. It was like that in set 1. I think it's like that in set 2. The level 1 is obviously synergistic because you're raising your anger, you're getting more cards. That's all the stuff Red loves to do. And then the level 4 is just great. So you use a Red Blaze, raise 2 anger, you maybe capture a Dragon Ball, and then you get another Red Blaze back and get 2 more anger in the next phase. So, or you're going to get a Red Destiny for 2 more anger. So
yeah.
The level 4 is great. And then Raditz level 3 is just arguably one of the best powers in the whole game. It's up there with like Trunks level 4 and Piccolo level 2. So just being able to enter and your opponent discards his only card is so good.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll try and hold time or something like that, or whatever the case may be. And especially against Red, it's good because now you have that extra card essentially in your hand, so that way you can try and push through and get that extra attack in or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely. I've actually discarded Wall Breaker with Raditz level 3 like several times.
Yeah, it's amazing for sure. So we'll look at your build. So you want to give us a rundown of your build in terms of how is it so much different from the deck on the left, as we can see obviously by the cards, but I noticed all 7 Dragon Balls, cards like Destiny and all this other stuff. So yeah, give us the rundown.
Sure. So, obviously in the Red MPPV build, you're going to want to minimize the number of planning step cards. So I run a full set of Dragon Balls. Main reason for that is against the blue matchup. So, if you're getting stuck with head knocks and, you need 6 anger to level, you can kind of abandon MPPV from the beginning of the game and just go for ball. You've got plenty of critical damage effects in Red that you're going to have no problem capturing them. Even if, the blue deck is running plenty of blue Fear and blue Trick, you're just going to be taking the balls back. Actually played a game against a blue Ginyu deck, and we probably passed the first 10 combats, and I balled out without an issue. He played ball 7 for me. I just used Red Knee Lift to capture it. And it just, he played right into my strategy. Instead of being aggressive and I just held an energy block the entire game, so I could stop, Ginyu's power when he finally entered, and it never came to that.
Awesome, yeah. I mean, it looks so solid. And after this, I have the video of me testing out the deck and playing someone. And like I said, at first you might think oh, Raditz and the balls, and how does that really work? But it works surprisingly well because it serves as a second win condition. As you can tell, but is your main deck? Main way to win with this deck is by MPPV or balls.
Well, it depends on which mastery your opponent is playing. If you're playing blue, it's ball. If it's any other mastery, it's anger. And the key strategy is with Raditz level 1. So if you're playing against blue, you stop using the Raditz level 1 unless you're reasonably certain, based on the cards that you've seen, that you're statistically low to draw 2 Dragon Balls. But against any other deck, you just use Raditz's power, all the time. If you happen to hit a Dragon Ball, you just banish the Dragon Ball. You don't care.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to use the really powerful ones like Ball 3 and Ball 7, and even Ball 5. But the other ones are there for utility in some of the other matchups. But they're really, the primary thing is for when you go up against a blue deck and you don't think you're going to be able to anger out. That's what the balls are there for.
Yeah, it's perfect for sure. Now, about your matchups, how does it do, or how do you think it might do against the top 3, Ginyu, Piccolo, and Krillin?
So top decks, it has a great matchup against Ginyu because you've got criticals for days. So Ginyu puts an ally out, you just kill it. It doesn't make it unbelievably in your favor because Ginyu's still Ginyu. So Ginyu functions even without his allies in play. So, you kind of take away his edge by default, and so then it becomes like a good game at that point. Against Piccolo, it's a pretty even matchup from what I've seen. If they can get an early wall breaker that you can't knock off somehow because they are just on a bunch of energy defense, it becomes tricky to anger out. But you've got enough criticals that you can hold them at bay, and you can actually gain anger faster than Namekian in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And then as far as the Black Krillin goes, that's really its tough matchup because Black Krillin can have a lot of defense. It can have the critical damage effects to keep you at lower levels. They run the Dragon Ball 2 and they'll get that out. They'll run the Black Control and pick off your shoulder grabs and pick off your static shots. So that one is really the worst matchup in my opinion. But it's not too bad. I think that the amount of fun you can have playing with this deck is offsetting that its poor matchup against Black Krillin. If I were going to play in a regional tomorrow, I probably wouldn't bring Red Raditz. If I was going to bring Red, I'd probably bring Red Piccolo. But for doing just regular weekly locals, where if you're tired of the meta and you want to play something new, Red Raditz is good enough that you can do well with it.
Yep, and I also see no stare downs. What's your reasoning behind that?
Yeah, you just want to get as much anger as possible. I mean, people will argue that stare down is better than a block or better than an attack, whatever. In this build, you find yourself not missing it. So you can just enter, and you have 4 cards in your hand that raise your anger by 1 or 2, and that's what gives you that explosive power. You don't really care too much if your attacks hit. Outside of the big combats where you want to do everything you can with shoulder grab, but usually if you have enough attacks, you don't really need to worry about it too much.
Yeah, I figured the only attacks that you really want to hit are probably like a static shot or something after a shoulder grab. But even if you get timed, it doesn't stop the anger. So that's what I really love about Red for the most part. I mean, even if they stop it, you still get some benefit out of it. Compared to most decks where they really need a hit for them to do something. And I guess talk to us about, like, if you get wall breakered, is it something that's really hard for you to deal with, or?
It's a lot easier to deal with wall breaker and Hero, obviously, because of focused assault. In Red, you've got your shoulder grabs and double strikes comboed together to give you lots of shots at getting wall breaker off. I've had several games where I got wall breaker like first combat, and with Raditz level 1 power and the card you draw off of Raditz level 1 power, you open with shoulder grab, then you use Raditz, and I find most of the time they don't want to stop that 1 life card attack, and you just do critical damage with it.
Yeah.
And knock the wall breaker off. So it's definitely a pause button, but it's in Red Raditz, it's not a stop sign.
And I figured, I think Raditz is probably one of those personalities where you don't mind getting wall breakered for the most part. I mean, I think the worst level to be wall breakered on would probably be 2. And if you get wall breakered on,
Red definitely 2 is the worst one to be wall breakered on. But if you're stuck on level 4 or level 3 or level 4, you're pretty much not doing too bad.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and even 1 because you still get the extra attack in to potentially get it off. So, I mean, it's definitely like a solid deck. Would you make any changes to it?
So as you mentioned, I'm playing around with Sphere and Battle Pausing.
Yeah.
I've been running the Sphere because I like having it in there. I think there's a lot of really strong events in the meta. In most of my playtesting, it hasn't really given me much mileage, so I want to think about trying to use a Battle Pausing. That might allow me to take an extra red blocking hand against an energy attack deck and get rid of it and draw back another double strike after I've done a shoulder grab. I'm interested to see how that plays out. I haven't actually tried it yet, but this deck really doesn't have any physical damage output, so the stages are irrelevant. And being able to combo with Red and get a couple cards back in a key combat could go a long way. I think Battle Pausing is at worst a replacement for like a 2 anger card. So if you were to run Red Right cross over it, at worst that's what it's doing. But at best it can get you a couple cards back. So trading up a 1 or 2 anger card for a 3 anger card, and then trading Battle Pausing in for maybe a 3 anger card. So the upside of that is promising to me. I got to see how it works, but I'm interested to try that out.
Awesome, and I also see the 3 red catch. Is that because you feel right now banishment's just top priority over Red Duck or something like that, where you get your?
Yeah. So the key reason for running that is endurance.
Oh.
I would like to run Red Duck as well because endurance is great. I couldn't find the room for that one, and I took Catch over Duck because I wanted that discard pile removal, of course. So the Devastating Blow and the Red Catch work together real well because you get to pick any cards you want. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually playing when I was using this deck online. You'll see, I was playing against Red God Crew, and thinking like, oh man, why Red Catch as opposed to Duck? And then I played the Catch when he did a physical, and I was able to banish his setups and drills so that way you can get it back with Goku 3. So it's control for sure. I think goes all the way, and plus you do have Red Blaze for rejuvenation if you care, and Raditz 4.
It does help to rejuvenate a little. I mean, the Red Ducks would be nice to be able to hit a Magic Rejuvenate 4 from time to time, but I find more often than not you're probably not going to be capitalizing on that. Red Catch is probably going to be banishing 1 or 2 cards most of the time you want to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Duck is only good if you can really rejuvenate 4, and even if you're banishing 2 with Catch, it's actually probably more beneficial. in the long run.
Especially in this type of build. I mean, you got the Visiting the Past for the recursion. Sometimes you want those cards in your discard pile.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really great. So yeah, I mean, the deck looks really solid, and people are going to see the video right after this for sure. And I really thank you for the build. And as we know that a lot of tournament structure got announced today with OP and everything. So what are you excited most about the tournament structure?
Oh, geez. All right. So I'm really happy that intentional draws are not a thing. I've had a lot of friends that got dropped out of Top Cut because other players intentionally drew. So I'm happy for that. There's definitely a possibility of hidden collusion. I guess if you get a couple players that have talked ahead of time to say, hey, if we play each other in the last round of Swiss, let's make sure we drag our combats out a little. I think something like that would be a little hard to prove, but at the same time, I would hope that the judges are watching those top matches and they can kind of get a feel for, okay, this guy is taking a long time to decide, which one of his attacks he's going to be using.
Yeah, especially if you're a good player, you kind of have an idea of how to play the game and what the plays are. So if someone's like taking a long time for one move or every move, probably something might be up. Like you said, it's really hard to kind of prove that, but you can't really stop everything.
There are definitely times where I'll sit back and I'll be playing a game and it's hard. Like you've got a few options and it makes or breaks the game which one you pick, and you have to really think it out and you say, okay, which one am I doing here? And it takes a little time. Hopefully you kind of work those kinks out in testing and you start to find more of those things. But so that when you get to the regional, you don't have to spend 5 minutes figuring out, okay, what's the optimal play.
Yeah.
But there are times where you need to take your time and think about it.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I'm really excited. And what do you hope to see in the future in terms of like tournament structure or something like that they haven't announced yet?
I haven't really given that much thought. I mean, I'm really a big fan of everything that Aaron and Richie have been doing. I think, of course, the guide was really well put out. I'm excited to see what they release next week as far as regional schedules and everything else coming in there. I'm hoping that there's the cool stuff that Richie's been talking about, the DBZ swag. It's like sleeves or deck boxes or cool stuff. I know people love Scatters and Swords. I don't know what the infatuation is with that. I never really loved using the Scatters and Swords, but it would still be cool to see those too. So
it gets more like a nostalgia kind of thing,
Sure, yeah.
Probably that, for sure. But again, thanks for, joining me. And if you have any more decks that you're like tweaking with, definitely shoot it by me. I'll definitely try and do something like this again for sure, because I have like a lot more requests. You're going to see like Saiyan Gohan, Saiyan Vegeta, Blue Godku, Black Trunks. These are all the decks that are in the works. So if you have any of those builds as well, or, Scott or any of the Sweeneys, let them know. We can hop on board and do like a nice collaboration like this again. I'd be excited.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And definitely a shout out to Scott because he helped me kind of tweak out the kinks with this build a little bit. I had a few things in here that were kind of questionable, and he helped kind of put me in the right direction with where to go. So this is definitely a collaborative effort between the two of us.
Awesome. So shout out to Scott Dashy, shout out to the Sweeneys, shout out to Riz and Aaron for the whole tournament structure, and Retro and everyone that's making this community better. And like I said, I think this game can really go far, and I really hope that it really just takes off, because it's one of the more complicated and more thought out games that I ever played for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. There's no other card game like DBZ.
Yeah, for sure. No.
That's in all ways that's a good way.
Yeah, no OTKs, FTKs. No. And even though we have like a kind of defined meta, again, it's only really set 2, and then when set 3 comes out, it's and more masteries, and it's going to be a whole different ball game. So for everyone out there who's probably getting tired of the meta, just relax, just keep playing, and just try and get better, and things will definitely change in the future, because we're only going to get more cards.
Raditz.
Yeah, Red Raditz, and a lot of these decks are like Blue Frieza and some other decks like Saiyan Vegeta, a lot of underdeveloped decks that kind of have potential but just can't really hold up with the meta right now, which is understandable because you can't have a perfect deck or to counter for everything. So like something like this can probably get a lot more buff next set. Who knows? So.
Yeah, I'm actually scared with what they've been teasing, that's saying Red is getting a lot more strong.
Yeah.
seeing this deck in action and how it does against Ginyu and Namekian, if this got too much more powerful, it might become overpowered. I'm a little nervous to see what comes in set 3 with Red. And at the same time, I'll definitely take advantage of it. But if it gets too much, it could kind of tip the scales a little.
Yeah, then everyone would have to play Wall Breakers at that point or something like that. So who knows?
I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more attached card interaction.
Yeah.
Obviously I have no insight on what's in set 3, but I would assume that with what we've kind of heard, with how much they like the attached card mechanic, I would assume that there's a lot more ways to interact with Wall Breaker in set 3.
Yeah, I mean, I love the attached card mechanic too, like the Gambit cards back in Scorzy and stuff like that. I always love things I could attach because it adds more. It's like simple but also complexity at the same time with the game, which I think instead of just attack, block, or something like that, adds a different element. And more cards like Sphere, like more reactive cards, I would hopefully like to see in future. And again, you only have like a 4-card hand for the most part, but kind of like in Yu-Gi-Oh! How you feel like activate a card, your opponent can respond to it. I would like to see more stuff like that because those are always really cool because it really makes you think about if my opponent has a counter to this or something like that. But who knows?
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Yeah, so again, thanks again, and hope you have a great night. And for all those watching, if you have a deck that needs to be tweaked up a bit, just message me. And I also have a bunch of good players like James, Scott, Peñas, Sweeney's, Mark, Bolger, TJ, all my friends, who are also willing to probably share their deck as well. So it's not just me. I can always get their decks and have them plug in as well. So until next time, Z Warriors, Mr. Waffles out. What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and today we have another segment of Deck Doctor, episode 2. This time with Mr. Garcia's Red Raditz deck, but we tweaked it up and we're using James Dad Miller's, or also known as JJ's Red Raditz deck against a good player, Squeak, as you know him on Retro. So we're going to see how the deck tests out. It's a Raditz ball deck, but since we're going against Godku, I'm expecting a lot of heavy physical beats. At the same time, probably some... I'm not sure if he might play Dragon Balls, but I guess we'll see what happens. So it's brother versus brother, and just looking forward to the matchup. We both have the same card advantage because Raditz and Goku basically net you a card at a cost, obviously. Oh, so it seems like he has a good hand. Okay. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm expecting me to get crit a lot, so I'm not going to be playing anything from my hand one bit, because then I would just lose the anger. Right now I could potentially level up if I use Raditz into double strikes. So I'm not going to play anything until he does all his stuff. It's kind of hard to know when because I'm taking a risk, because if he passes then I just lose out. But we'll just play the waiting game. So seeing what he does next, he shoulder grabs, so I figured he would commit. So he's going to use the Goku, which is totally fine. So I'm just going to pass. Because with Raditz power, you never know what you're going to get, so... I mean, if I had one block, then I would, but it's just kind of risky. So I can do 5 again. 3, 4. 5. Alright, so he goes to level 2. Now part of me really wants to use Raditz. It's just, again, I'm still on the shoulder grab, so I'm just going to pass it out. Taking a risk here. Figuring I might have at least one more attack, and then I'll probably just use my stuff. Shoulder grab. So he gets the early lead. And I guess we'll Raditz now. Okay, so we got the shoulder grab and radar. So we're gonna go with the shoulder grab. If he has another attack, fine, because we still level up. So I played the waiting game because I had enough anger to level up, but I figured with my hand I'll be taking a lot of beats. So I just wanted him to just commit, take all the attacks, and then raise up. Otherwise I would just raise my anger just to get it lowered. I wish this at least did AT like one stage. It's just, this card's good, but it's so bad. Okay, the other card was Duck. So, pass this. So, we level up. So, now we trigger the Mastery. Death Blow. So point of, let's see, does he have anything? Because I'm going to be lowering anger because of the crit effect. So we're definitely going to keep the strike. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go to level 3. So it doesn't really matter here. So we'll get rid of this. Reasoning is, well, let's see how much damage I can use at C, so these are not going to be doing much at all. So, might as well try and get some life cards in there. So we'll double strike first so we don't lose the stages. Like, this is probably the only best time that double strike is good, when you have a shoulder grab lingering around. And then I'm gonna level with this. Oh. Mastery, draw, discard. Pass. So he gets the drill. I'm at level 3. It says 50 cards. Oh man, I'm at 39. No drill. So he's gonna get a drill. I'm probably thinking forward stance just to block an attack at least, but I'm also feeling that it might get embarrassing too, just to get crazy effects to happen. We'll see. But yeah, that combat, again, I just had to wait. Oh, tactical drill, that too, so this is definitely a good drill. So for the most part, just to recap, I just had to wait it out because I knew I was going to be taking a lot of beats, so there was no point for me to raise my anger. We could potentially level, so we'll enter. So yeah, and this is JJ or James Miller's Red Raditz ball deck. This is his take on it, and I see a cards. So yeah, this is his take on the ball Raditz. I think for me personally, instead of catch, I could see why, because of all the discard effects. It's between this and duck. So I think they're both really good. I just prefer duck just to rejuve and all that jazz. So, static shot. No! I was really hoping that would have gone through. Just a level right there. Yeah, that's good. Even with this deck with Raditz, you know, if you lose these setups, what's really cool is that, again, you can just, if you use a critical damage effect, and that's pretty much all of Red's cards, you just get a free setup like Blaze or Destiny, and it's another free 2 anger, and you rejuvenate. So So right now, I don't think I'm going to win the life deck war by any means. It's more of me trying to simply just anger out at this point. That's pretty much what we're both trying to do, so you can get there faster. And this card is just bonkers. But he's at 4 anger, so hopefully if he plays a card just to level him up, it just goes away. If he does decide to enter, he loses a card, so he's more likely going to pass and rejuve, which gives me the hope that I might get some balls or something, because I haven't seen a Dragon Ball yet. Yeah, as we figured, he's going to rejuve. And then I'm just going to play the waiting game, get my power up. Let's see. Dragon Ball? No. Let's see. You will lose a card. Get that. It's 3 anger. I'm not sure what to keep here. Things I haven't seen Dragon Balls yet, so I figured if I enter. No, we'll go for it. Why not? So Raditz kicks in. It'd be good if he had like a sacrifice in hand or something like that. Time. That's fine. That was my only attack anyway. So he levels up. I can see why this card definitely comes in handy, because I mean, graveyard discard pile banishment is really huge right now, and I think it's always going to be huge. Is there any setups? No setups or drills. I guess we'll get rid of time. Because I do run ball 7, so on the off chance he does take it. Ooh. Well, I guess he would do that first. History. So these would be. I'm just making. I'm not making sense right now. Sorry. I forgot the timing. So I guess when he played the heel kick, he's supposed to, I guess, level draw this card, and then I decide to stop it. So, banish, please. Yeah, it's just like the timing on some of the cards in this game are just like really weird. Because you see an attack and you stop, you know, like as one thing is actually happening, something else happened at the same time, kind of thing. Because he plays a card, he levels up, Mastery kicks in, and then and then I just choose to stop it or not. So knowing that, I definitely want to get rid of the Blaze so you can't get it back with Goku. That was a mistake on my part. Bypass. So time 1/1 attack is good. I felt like I had to enter because I haven't seen a Dragon Ball yet. So we're going to stop that, gain that anger. Alright, cool. That was a very good combat for me, but I'm just worried about what I'm going to draw next because I haven't seen the Dragon Balls. They're going to be coming up soon. But luckily for me, I do have another energy stop for Goku's attack, and my opponent does lose a card, so it evens out in that sense. So just hope for the best. So far the deck's going pretty well. So, alright, got the physical block. Yes, as I figured. Oh, yeah, 2. It's going to be a rough combat, but hopefully my anger doesn't get lowered too much. Again, I'm going to stop Goku's attack, and then see what happens next. So 5. 3. 4. 5. Pass. So he probably might have some blocks in his hand. I mean, I got rid of a double strike, and he had another one, which is fine, because the card's just weak. Again, in the red mirror match, I try to be very patient, especially if I know what my hand is. I don't try to unload on my opponent knowing that I don't have anything to back myself up with. Ball 2 coming in clutch. Ooh, all the good stuff is coming out today. So we'll put this, put that. Always my anger. I'll put ball 5 into play. So I draw a card, rejuvenate this. First time I leveled up, not drew in combat. So trigger the mastery. Ooh. Well, we'll get rid of this for sure. And then we'll play ball 2 to lower him down. And I rejuvenate one for the... Unless I did already. Yeah, I think we did. And then now with Raditz level 4, which a lot of people don't really see or care for, but his level 4 is really, really good. Whenever your setups or drills enters play, choose a card in your discard pile, rejuvenate it. The first time you use a critical damage effect, which is a lot of cards in red, you may search your life deck or discard pile for a set and place it into play. So we basically play a setup or drill and rejuvenate a card. So we start to recoup some of the life deck loss. So get some cards with endurance in there. And ball 3 is amazing in like setup decks. So we'll rejuvenate this. It's not so much the nut hand I had, it's just ball 3 allows you to do that, because again I haven't seen my Dragon Balls all game. So I knew that they were coming up towards the end. So when you level down in red, you draw a card. When you level up, you draw and discard. So that's the trade-off, because if you leveled up and you just drew a card, you'll just have like infinite combos and just win. Yeah. So in this situation, because we're not in combat, that's what happens, but so if he enters, I'm just gonna VTP for time, use Red Blaze to gain 2 anger to get another Red Blaze or Destiny, because I use a critical damage effect, and then hopefully win that combat. Again, with red, it's easy to steal balls like crazy, so I'm thinking he's probably going to go ball 2, knock me down. Trying to see if he has any shoulder grabs left. Still has 30 cards in his deck, so his deck can definitely bring the pain. 1 shoulder grab, 2. So he has another shoulder grab in the deck somewhere. But this is definitely an interesting match. I mean, JJ's deck seems to really control in all different aspects. So let's see what we get. Offensive guard, City Destruction to take back the ball, and 2. Okay. So we're pretty much good money. If he confronts, then I'll Red Destiny in response. So that way I don't get critted out. If he just attacks, then I'll just time. Hopefully he doesn't have a sphere, but it's the risk that we take. Alright, City Destruction. Alright, so since we're going down, we do draw a card. Well, you may, but I definitely will. Okay. So I really want to save the Blaze for when I get to 4. So we're gonna Destiny. So it takes him out of crit range for the most part, so I can use the time for something later in the game. Enraged Blast will just do 2, which I'm totally fine with. And then we'll City Destruction. If he does a physical, we'll just offensive guard, because I want the energy blast to go through, or at least get the anger from it. So we will. I mean, I should have waited until he Goku's, but right now I'm not really caring so much. It's playing the waiting game. Smart. And the reason why I didn't want to take ball 2 is because this is going to be passed back around, so you can keep it. Ooh, static shot. Let's see if this hits. And it doesn't. So I can't lower my anger because of City Destruction. So, Red Blaze. And we're gonna get, I think there's another Red Blaze in here. We'll get the Red Blaze because of Raditz 4. Or anger. And I rejuvenate a card, so gonna stuff with endurance. I'm gonna pass as well. As much as I could have done that, I figured if when I enter Red Blaze to get like Destiny, and then I have time to back me up. Basically an energy block and something to give me anger. So you can see the life gap is slowly closing in. I'm hoping I can just win soon. And I have Dragon Ball 1 to protect all the other ones, so we're pretty safe. Now the question is, does he have a sphere? I don't think so. I would have at least seen something by now, but like late game sphere is like very, very deadly. Alright, so he's entering. Very close game. After both of us being dropped down the level. So So the game plan here is to use Red Blaze to get Red Destiny and hopefully win. Just in case he does a physical, it's pretty much for an energy. Let's see what else I had. I mean, I guess the correct thing to stack with 7 would have been probably 2 offensive guard and a city destruction. So we'll take that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we have the game now. Because with this, just Lord Anger, and then since we use a crit, we get Raditz ability. Let's get another Blaze to rejuve, and then we also rejuvenate a card. So I'm just gonna rejuve this. And then we have, and then whatever attack he throws at us, we're just going to use offensive guard. Because we can't risk him having a sphere. That's why I think the better play was to get 2 offensive guard. And a city destruction. Because we have the offensive guard. Or something like that, just to be on the really safe side. And that's pretty much game, so yeah, Raditz levels really quickly. Oh, yeah. So I guess the correct play would have probably been like 2 offensive guard and like city destruction, so we can't lower it. But just to be on the super safe side, because you always gotta. If he like ran a sphere, if he like sphered one of my things on a big attack, I would have been decimated because I would have taken 5, and then he probably would have crit or something like that. You know, just to be on the safe side. I play very like super safe. In this game, it's better to be safe than sorry. Not all the time, because if you do play super safe, can kind of cost you the game. I remember playing another opponent with my version of Red Raditz, and I was down to 2 life cards, and it was either I had 2 balls in my hand, and I played 1 ball, and then I VTP'd for Red Palm Strike, and I was at 3 anger at Raditz 4, so if it hit, I won. If it didn't, I lost. And if I passed Rejuvenated, he was playing Black Krillin. Basically, when I saw his hand, he had Black Power Up, so he could have just entered Power Up and won. So it was a super close game, and sometimes you just have to go for it. So I wonder how Raditz does against other decks like Namek or Krillin. But again, in the Deck Doctor, we're just going to ask him, and you'll hear what he has to say about it. So it's pretty much the deck, guys. And if you want to have your deck be fixed and tweaked and have me test it on Octagon, just shoot me a message on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and and I'll do my best to work on it for sure. So until next time, Z Warriors, it's going to sign off here. And